Can I do this? I'm happy. I'm grumpy. I'm dopey. Hi, everybody. I'm a corporate symbol.
Hold it. Whoa.
The only thing that was established in that improv, because it was just, I invited Robin to just play. The only one that he didn't improvise was corporate symbol for Mickey. That actually was a storyboard done by Steve Moore, who was on my crew in Toaster and Back to Neverland. And I love that punchline. When I was giving Robin a tour of the storyboards to give him his first look at it, and we got to that part where it was the corporate symbol thing, and he just busted a gut. He was like, oh, and he just like, everybody in the room turned to see what he was laughing about. And I just went, maybe it'll stay in. I kept waiting for Katzenberg to tell me like, Jer, you can't do that. You can't make fun of Disney. But he never did. I just would never talk about it. Robin loved it. They all witnessed him love it. He always kept it in as the punchline. And I just crossed my fingers and kept going. And we opened at the park and I went, thank you. So I got to go to New York when he was in Waiting for Godot at Lincoln Center with Steve Martin. He was in Waiting for Godot, but I just went there to do a surgical strike to do the work. And then he was like, oh, did you see the show? And I said, no, I didn't have enough time. They just flew me in, oh, you have to stay tonight. And well, I have special seats. I'll give you tickets. You know, so I was like, oh, well, he's like, oh, delay your flight, man. So I did. And so I did delay the flights. And he's like, oh, just meet me at the side door. I'll walk up. I'll just let you in the side. So I went there and I was at night outside the theater and I'm just sitting on a curb at the sidewalk and I see out of the fog 2 figures walking and it was Robin and Steve Martin. And there was no entourage, no limits, no anything. They just walked up. And so Robin introduced me to Steve and they went in a side door and it was just a back entrance through where people were getting dressed and the makeup and all this stuff was going on. And then he showed me to a staircase where there were the balcony seats to look down at the show. And I watched Waiting for Godot. And then he afterwards asked me to come to the dressing room and he was talking about the emotion he felt and kind of the message of the project and everything, and was really just involved with it beyond it was his gig. He was talking about what he thought the audience would be feeling at that moment. And then he was asking me if I wanted a ride back. And Marcia, who was a good protector of Robin, she was great. And she had really helped us before. But she threw me a little look over his shoulder like, no. It's like, you've had your time. Like, he invited here. He gave you special seats. He invited you to his dressing room. I think we're done. You know, so it's like, Robin's like, oh, come on, you got to go. You know, we have a car. I was like, well, I'm just going to walk. And he's like, oh, it could be dangerous out there. Really? So I was like, and she's like giving me the eye. So I'm like, nah, I'm fine, Robin.
Wow.
So it was just really sweet. But he would talk glowingly about Cronkite and his place in history. And he would like tell me like I needed to know. It's like Cronkite is so important.
Good evening from our CBS newsroom in New York on this, the first broadcast of network television's first daily half-hour news program.
He hadn't met Robin yet, and he was very curious about what it would be like to meet Robin Williams. And then on the set, they would make each other laugh, and I don't know what they were talking about. I would have them waiting for me to call action. I'd be, you know, it'll just be a few seconds, and I'd hear, and I'd be like, what are they saying? I want to know. But they were getting along great. And then later in New York, it's like, oh yeah, they just had dinner together, and
wow.
So they struck up a real friendship.
In order to demonstrate the animation process, we're going to turn you into an animated character.
Does this mean I'm only going to have 3 fingers?
Tinkerbell.
She's so bright. Oh, it's like being in the presence of Barbara Streisand.